What's up, everybody? Cyrus Bonet here with Veterans Agent, coming at you with another market update. However, there's not a lot of change. I know I've been absent the last couple months because the market's been kind of the same in seasonality. I feel like a broken record, but for anyone that hasn't seen it before and all of our new members in our database, I'd like to explain the seasonality effects of real estate on the West Coast where we're at. You guys got to be very careful about looking into all the stuff online and all across the board, Instagram, social media, influencers especially. Listen to professionals that are licensed in their fields, not somebody that can produce a video every single day about different statistics about every scenario in our economy. You have to research and do all these different things. I specialize in real estate in the Pierce, Thurston, Counties of Joint Base Lewis-McChord, helping veterans. That's what I know, and so I'm going to tell you a lot of these people out there are portraying housing markets in other areas of the nation as a broad spectrum, and I can tell you right now, you'll see that's not the case for the West Coast. Are things bad? Is it ugly? Housing, affordability, interest rates, outside factors such as economy, war, all that stuff, of course. We also have to consider that those could play factors into the housing market itself, but as far as housing in my location, I can tell you right now, it's systematically kind of the same thing, following its same patterns with adjustments based on outside influences. So with that being said, I'm going to kind of go over the pros of owning rather than renting right now. Obviously, affordability, all that stuff is hard, but in a general sense, I'm going to explain what that means because I didn't used to know until I understood what it means to have a home with equity, appreciation, principal buy down, all that kind of stuff. I never would be where I'm at today. Multiple properties, I have rentals, I've flipped homes. And so people need to have that knowledge whether they make the decision today or tomorrow. All right. So if you need to follow up on the market, you just want to check in with what's going on locally here. I have my market watch on my website that you can check in anytime. You click on that and it updates based on the API that's feeding it. I've created this chart that goes over the best time to buy and the best time to sell. And I'm going to tell you right now, the best time to buy a home is in the summer when a ton of inventory comes in, as it's coming in right now. The best time to sell a home is in the springtime, March, April, May, traditionally when inventory is low. We got a lot of buyers hitting the market. That's when your days on market drop. List sales ratios climb like crazy. Bidding wars galore. You have home inspection waivers, financing waivers. One of my buyers in this last spring competed in a property up in King County where it went over $100,000, every contingency waived. It's not common to see those since COVID. And again, fear-based kind of type things. And so I've always advised my buyers, if you're capable, wait till summer, lots more inventory. I tell my sellers, if you can, if capable, do it in the spring. If anything, time it so that way you can be out by June, Airbnb, so you can capitalize in the markets. But obviously everyone has a different variety of scenarios. Each individual person is different. So in my market watch today, I'm going to go over just some basic common sense stuff that is not common sense to you, but there's a lot of stuff I said online that is scaring people, and rightfully so. We're in a pretty ugly state in our economy and everything going on. So the feds have promised back in December that they're going to do rate cuts, and they started to, and then they took back on their word for probable cause reasons that they probably needed to, and rates started to come back up in February. It started to dip again in March, and then it's been climbing again since. And it's recent data that came out saying that the inflation is dropping ever so slightly. It gave us some hope, and the markets are doing better today, and they are dropping. The average markets are at 6.5 roughly. You can see on here. This is at, and I reference a lot of VA because it's the majority of my clients, but 6 points, it's hard to get to do on this map. 6.4 for the Freds. Another mortgage calculator I have on here is 6.64. My API with my website is for a lot of our VA veterans, different mortgages out there. You will find that on my VA calculator. Down here it's at 6.28. My local brokers that we work with are at 6.25. So make sure you are shopping and you come to us to let us as one out of 5 things that we have to help our buyers slash sellers get a lower rate and find more affordability in these markets. We're always trying to look for those for you, okay? Going back to our market watch trends, historics, mortgage applications will follow the interest rate markets, as we said. Feds announced in December interest rates are going to drop, so we had a ton of mortgage applications. They started to come up in February, so you saw the applications drop. Then they started to come up again in March when they came down. And then we've just kind of been stagnant since. I anticipate mortgage applications to jump if rates continue to fall in this next week. And so that's a great way to indicate good times to buy or sell. If you see a lot of mortgage applications, you're going to see a spike in buyers in the coming weeks. So we're anticipating a good market in the coming week. Just outside my window, we have a neighbor's house for sale. Dead as can be last week, and as I've made this video today, I've seen 3 people tour that home. So physically, I'm seeing it appear in my window. All right, so experts are also predicting, since the inflation rates came down ever so slightly, that rates are going to go down next week. Let's see here. Local real estate data. I'm going to jump over to now this is all data pulled from a trend graphics website. You can go in here and check month over month, year over year. You can see it all for yourself. But so it's easier for you to see. Let me get you on the page that I need you to be on. All right. So this is a larger scale of what you're seeing on my website. As I said, we have historics of what occurs in our housing market on the West Coast, particularly our area. So inventory, March, April, May, we see these huge pending spikes every year. Pending. This is where your low days on market, list sales ratios go above, which means people are paying over asking price, waive contingencies. Then we start to see all the inventory hit for summer. Kids are getting out of school, job transfers occur more, PCS season, more light, a lot of variables. So obviously summer is the more active season for real estate to be more robust as far as the volume of listings. So buy summer, sell spring. Now, I'm going to go over this quick because no one wants to hear percentages. This month, last month for sale is up 17.6%, sold 15.8%, pending 20.5%. One statistic, we're going to see the positive from this year to last year because we had a lot of fear-based stuff going on. But this year to last year, we have a 32.8% climb in for sale. So it's common for it to be more than to climb this time of year, but 32 is kind of a pretty good spike. And you can even see it in the charts here. 4.2, you have a huge gap between sold and active and between the peak of pending and active. If we go to 423, I mean, we're right down here. If you don't follow, if you're a visual person, you can see this little line right here is where we were at last year. So we're definitely seeing a spike in actives this year. A lot of sellers on the fence, equally as buyers trying to wait for rates to come down because they got to go somewhere too. So sellers are buyers majority of the time. All right, so that is our active pending for sale. I think it's going to be a good time for buyers to be purchasing this summer, so long as rates can at least maintain or continue to decline. This will be a benefit to you guys. Average price, we're not going to go over average price per square foot. That it's not relevant right now. The days on market have came down, but again, this is last month's data, so it is reflecting, April's data of lower days on market. All right, so it's pretty common for it to come down. List to sales ratios are a flat line from this time to last year. Last month to this month, it's 1% over. So again, historically, same thing. Something we are going to go over briefly real quick is the average sales price. So again, when you see these spikes, these spikes in the red, this is your sold. Sold's all that matters right now. These spikes in the red are your spring season. Your average sales price goes up quite a bit, and we're seeing that climb pretty greatly like we have in the past. And then they die off in the summer because people don't have to get in bidding wars. They start paying actual market values. We're going to go over the 7.9%, as I said, when I go over the rent versus own and why appreciation matters. And this particularly is going to matter greatly. 7.9% is pretty good for the markets that we've been dealing with. COVID, it was 16%, 15, 17%, depending on where you live. Prior to that, it hovered around 4 to 6%. So we're still doing a little bit better. on some of those fronts. All right, so let's get past some of this stuff. Seller's market, buyer's market, balanced market. We've been in a seller's market since 2016, 17 roughly, and we have no pace to slow down. Again, we're short inventory. More apartments are coming, more buildings coming, but not at the pace that we need for society. So it's still going to be years until we ever see a buyer's market again, quite some time. Unless we see World War III break out, ton of people die from COVID 2.0, whatever the case may be, outside influences. West Coast, we've always been in the red as far as high housing shortage. It's just always been that way. Desirable area, strong economies, that kind of thing. This map has never really changed as far as the West Coast. And then I have some other local data in here that you guys can pick and prod at. I have some real estate blogs and VA blogs that you guys can check out within there. All right, so we're going to play a case scenario on rent versus own. Give me... Okay, so then we're going to gear you up into the idea of let's continue to wait and see if rates continue to drop. Let's not buy yet, which is an understandable and reasonable faction of life right now. But we need to give you the proper education so you know when to pull the trigger, whether it be now or in 2 years. So let's say you do want to buy in 2 years. The predictions are rates are only, this is conventional by the way, are only going to get down to about 6%, looks like roughly. Those are the 2-year projections. So about a point down. Not much for 2 years based on what we've seen in the past. So we're going to play the scenario of rent versus own over the next 2 years and what that looks like in your pocketbooks and your financial or your family wealth. All right. As far as real estate is concerned. All right, here we go. All right, here's a scenario I put together for you as a very basic scenario based on how you can understand equities or what you could lose over the next 2 years. Obviously, doomsday could be around the corner. We don't know. But historically, real estate is your best investment aside from stocks, but that's more of a guessing work, right? So let's say you want to keep your mortgage. Let's say you're renting $2,800 a month. 24 months, that's going to equal $67,000 that goes to your landlord's mortgage. Helps their retirement, pays off, helps their bottom line, right? And that does nothing for you as far as your net equity in your pocket. However, it gives you that security that you don't have a house to default on or that you can pick up and leave. Those are great scenarios, but it's not great scenarios for your overall longevity of financial wealth, all right? I used to be a hardcore renter. Never would I buy in the military. Life changes within a year at JBLM, trust me. All right, if we wanted to keep our mortgage the same, here's where you can basically build $90,000 based off this scenario. Now, again, these are just generic principles. Get with us for a one-on-one conversation. Now, let's say we're going to bump it up to $3,000 a month because you want a little bit better of a home, better area. Your principles based off a $500,000 home. 15% is an average of what your actual principal is paid month over month for the first couple of years. So $472 over 2 years is a positive $11,000 paid down on your mortgage. All right, let's start looking at the double whammy of home ownership, which is appreciation. So on your $500,000 home, we are at a 7.9% appreciation, like I said earlier in those charts. As of last year, this year, we're at 7.9%. Over 2 years on that $500,000 home, you will have gained $79,000 in appreciation so long as the market continue to maintain that trajectory. All right, plus your $11,328 paid down, you now have a $90,000 net real estate equity. So you can have $60,000 outflow, or you can have $11,000 outflow, which gives you $90,000 in real estate net equity. So that's just the very general basic economics of rent versus owning and why it's so important, why you should be investing in real estate. You see everybody out there trying to buy rentals, buying, flipping houses. That's the scenario of it. You're gaining all this net worth. So I'm an vet. Once I learned it, I started buying like crazy. I own rentals, Airbnbs, I've flipped houses. I know those markets. So that is the generalization of rent versus own, why you should be cautious, look at all scenarios, sit down with professionals in their field, and make sure you get an all-around scope of what's going on. So that way you can make great informed decisions, because no decisions is not a great scenario for the longevity of your projected futures and outcomes. So I'm going to be doing a little bit deeper dive on this on future videos, marketing pieces. You can sit down with us to kind of go over your scenarios. We have plenty of options to help with this market, and what we're able to do to help people with the cost of buying a home, getting their rates down. I'll be coming up with a video and an email to send out to everybody that gives you all the options that we could do to get your rate purchase down, how to negotiate rates down for sellers to pay for it, different types of mortgage loans that are out there, different types of mortgage lenders. There's various ways of options out there and negotiations, but you have to have somebody that knows how to do it. I know at face value, I don't look like a realtor, but I've been doing this 13 years and I don't care how I look anymore. You can look at my reviews, you can look at my history. I know what I'm talking about when it comes to real estate negotiations. I'm a real estate guy. I don't taunt or flaunt or project myself as the great realtor, but I do know what I'm talking about. I've been a full-time agent with this. So lastly, I want to go over all my listings. I've had the benefit of having some beautiful properties come up over the first and second quarters of the year, all of which you could find my data, and any agent that's not willing to share their stats with you, you've got to be very cautious of it. So here's me compared to the entire MLS. I can add in other realtors here if you want me to do compare and contrast. As far as the entire MLS, my list of sales ratios used to be pretty much well above the entire MLS, the average of all real estate agents. Now I'm pretty much back on par, but my pricing, I've taken special classes on how to price homes and know what I'm doing. You can also look at my days on market on average. Are a lot less. I am down to 4 days. The MLS is at 33. So in 4 days, I could sell your house for the same price as what the average MLS is selling you. On top of that, you would see within our listings how much more and above we go on for our listings. Sorry, let me turn my music off. We make sure to highlight the property, get your own personal website. There's a lot of things that we are able to do in our marketing to make sure your properties are being marketed correctly in the correct locations and everything overall. Helping you prepare the home for sale, properly marketing, scheduling, timing, all this stuff matters to make sure you have a smooth and easy sell. So buyers, sellers, I've been in this a long time, 13 years, veteran real estate agent. And this is my typical market update. If things are definitely getting ugly and there could be a trigger here or there. As far as real estate in the general sense of things, we're still kind of floating on track of where they're at. So unless banks start closing, like I said, World War III breaks out, I think the biggest fear we have is mass job layoffs, bank closures, and or people's debt getting out of control from using their credit cards and wiping out their savings 401ks. Aside from that, we're probably going to have a lot more inventory this summer. If rates drop drastically, they're going to get gobbled up quickly. Not likely. I just don't see rates dropping very well for the next little while. So again, any questions you guys may have, you can see my website. Go look at my reviews. Make sure you're researching your agents. There's a lot of just come and go agents that don't really know what they're doing. And there's only probably about 20-30% of us that are actually out there doing this on the day-to-day, knows what we're doing, has reputation online, has certifications. And then for the love of God, don't listen to the influencers on YouTube or on Instagram. These guys are just influencers for clickbaiting. These guys are projecting so much bad information. They're out there making bad areas of the nation that are in bad shape, over-purchased, overbuilt, as a broad spectrum for all of real estate, fear factoring everybody. I'm still seeing people buy and investors buy like crazy in our location. So don't listen to those guys. Have a conversation with the pros. Reach out to us if you need anything, and we'd be happy to help. Thanks. Have a great weekend and great summer.